Every year, the Senior Bowl quietly reshapes dynasty rankings long before draft night. This is the week where questions get answered, roles start to clarify, and real momentum starts to build against NFL competition. Tonight on the Dynasty Pulse, we're diving into prospects we're watching closest, the players who can gain real dynasty value with a strong showing. And if you're serious about staying ahead of the market, this is the week for you. You can't afford to miss. Let's hit it, Schultzy. Let's get that party started. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Dynasty Pulse right here on FSAN. And today we're kicking off the Senior Bowl primer, and we're getting ready for one of the most important evaluation weeks in the entire draft cycle. It isn't about box scores or highlight clips, about context, traits, and opportunity. I'm jazzed up for this show. Each of us are going to highlight two guys we had our eye on this week and headed into the weekend as well. So, how you boys doing? Are we jacked up for this show, boys?
I'm jacked up on Mountain Dew, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, Chev. How you doing, man?
I'm beyond jacked up. I've levitated above the cement aisle for hours now.
I love it. I love it. And then Schultzy, how are you doing, man?
Hey, we're all doing good. We're all better than Biggs. Shout out to Biggs. he's out here looking like Bert Kreischer or whatever. Got stung by bees and he's allergic to bees.
I thought you were gonna say he needs some milk.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he needs something. He needs an ice pack or two. I mean, the guy should probably have a freezer full of ice packs going 24/7. 365. We never know what is going to happen to that man. And yeah, I'm sure he'll be back to tell his story. And we're going to miss the big guy again. So hopefully he's back next week. But Biggs, we miss you, man. And I'm sure somebody will talk a little bit about Jaden Ott at some point today, maybe in brief, just in your memory. But
yeah, you know, RIP, man. RIP, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
He's in a better place now. I miss him.
I miss the big guy.
I do.
All right, let's get into the show here. And this segment is about zeroing players headed into the Senior Bowl week. These aren't just names to know. They're prospects with something to prove, something to gain, or something that we want to see confirmed against an NFL competition. And Schultzy, you got the first round at it here. Talk about the player you want to see and what you've seen from them so far from the Senior Bowl action and what you want to see in the game and headed into the weekend here, bud.
Yeah, I guess I'll talk about Malachi Fields real quick. And this is a guy who started out at Virginia, played there for a hot minute. I guess that was longer than a hot minute, 3 full seasons. And then transferred his way over to Notre Dame. And I like this guy's skill set. I guess there's a little bit of like Keon Coleman vibes in a way, like the contested catch. No, I like him better. But I think there's a little bit of that, like contested catch guy, really good ball skills. I think he's a little bit quicker. And I mean, got buried here in an offense that liked to run the ball a lot. It wasn't a super high volume passing offense, but it was an upward transfer, and the stats overall, like the yardage came down here. Touchdown stayed the same, but like the yards per reception went up. He was more explosive. I think he's going to be a very just dependable receiver at the next level. I don't know. It's probably round 3, 4, maybe in the NFL draft. Who knows where the hype train may take him come your rookie draft. I hope it doesn't drive him up too far. I don't like if this were a guy who got some real steam and pushed himself, maybe into the high second round or something, I don't know if I'd be in at that point. But if we get a good showing here and the hype train stays a little bit depressed, I'm going to be in on a lot of Malachi Fields. I think the skill set translates well, and in the right offense, this could go very well. We have some nice reports out of the Senior Bowl already. We saw the one clip today where he was on a deep ball and he had to outstretch for that thing, and it was over his shoulder here. He had to outstretch to the side, contort the body, go make a really great catch on a ball. Let's see what he does in the game, but I really like Malachi Fields.
Yeah, he's got a big body, and to me, I look at him and I just think he's bigger bodied Chris Godwin, where he's just short-handed, comes down with the ball, but he's a boundary receiver, 6'4", in the 220s. You love the frame, the catch radius, all there. And as you spoke to, that catch radius was on display at the Senior Bowl. It's live. It's been happening on PFF. We're talking maybe early round 4 for Malachi Fields. Of course, the stock could go up right now, looking to a day 3 pick. I think Malachi Fields is a perfect Pittsburgh Steeler. He's exactly what you would want in that offense. And this just shows that the wide receiver class is deeper and deeper. It looks better and better. We have some gems in the top 5, even pushing from 6 to 10 are very tough to place and land for our players in this class. So 10 to 15 is really going to offer a lot. And here we have Malachi Fields. I know Chev is going to talk about Ted Hurst a little bit later, but a real gem in Malachi Fields is able to block, be physical, do things that will keep him on the field. And what do you want for rookies and players? You want opportunity. And the things that are going to get coaches really excited, especially when you're young, is the opportunity to make sure you can take advantage of the blocking game so that you can stay on the field and get some slot percentage, some outer boundary percentage, any kind of snap percentage is what the term I was looking for. So very excited, and just another name to know. So love that, Schultzy.
I know we've talked about you and I have talked about Malachi Fields a little bit, and now this feels like the Jaden Higgins thing where it's like, hey man, this dude might be pretty good, and then now everybody's gonna say that they knew he was good. So I'm excited that you did this, Schultzy. I love you for this. I wanted to talk about Malachi Fields so much.
It's so funny because on my end, being from South Bend, I'm like a half Notre Dame fan. So I watch him, and for me, the reason I put him on here is because it's just the handful of times I sat down and watched him this year. He'd be like 1 or 2 times a game. You would also be like, "Holy crap! What?
Why do they not use this guy more?" Is the first thing. Oh, so do you think like there's a little bit like it feels like Nico Collins with this, like with the way that he's able to play the ball in the air now? I mean, I'm not saying he's Nico Collins. I'm just saying you can see the framework for something to potentially have a ceiling like that. And it'd be really good.
I think somewhere between Keon Coleman and Nico is pretty fair. I mean, like as like a projection.
Maybe like Jawan Jennings.
Ooh, interesting.
I mean, they're both big. Like Jawan Jennings plays. Yeah. I mean, he played a lot in the slot though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail us. Go ahead.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see how he fares. I mean, he made a really nice catch today, and like Schultzy mentioned, and lighting things up, and a guy that could potentially fall into that big body style receiver here. Now, Coach, who do you got? Who do you want to spotlight as one of your guys?
Hey, it's Kaytron Allen. He's my RB5 in this class. Very capable back. Gets the David Montgomery comparisons, and just with respect to David Montgomery, hey, he's a lesser Kaytron Allen. David Montgomery. Ironically, if things are afoot in Detroit and Montgomery finds a new home or location, I think Kaytron Allen would just be a splendid pick for the Detroit Lions to continue what they have. Thunder and Lightning, Jahmyr Gibbs. 5'11", 217, a bigger running back. he's been showing some blocking skills and some power moves on display at the Senior Bowl. So we're getting good reports for him. But this is one of those guys who already has a lot to his repertoire and already has some reputation. And he's going to the Senior Bowl and cementing what he's doing. There's some guys, like later we'll talk about Mike Washington, who's really boosting his stock. I think Kaytron Allen, you're just going to get more of a confirmation of who he is. 4-star recruit, had a lot of interest out of high school. We're talking Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, NC State, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, USC, Texas. So a whole lot. Miami, like the list goes on and on. At Rutgers, there was one thing about him, lack of long speed. He'll get caught at the next level. And ladder agility, it's very much on display. He can go east-west when blocking isn't open and gets upfield. But the problem is he gets caught. So the ability to accelerate, decelerate, and boom forward, cutback ability is there. And the ability to get what is blocked is there for Kaytron Allen. Just that you're going to see on film, he gets caught down, but it'll be 30 to 40 yards downfield. So he's not a burner by any means. And that might be just kind of like a lazy negative that people will take towards Kaytron Allen and think that the fantasy viability may not be there. But because Kaytron Allen engages physicality as a blocker, he does enough in the passing game. He's more of a rusher. There's going to be things that can keep him duty on the field. Yeah. I said duty. He's going to take care of the duties that he has as a player. Much like we talked pre-show about Kyle Monangai. Kyle Monangai is really dutiful in all that he does, and it keeps him on the field. Kaytron Allen is very much that. So I'm very excited about him. He's my RB5, and his yards after contact, 792 yards after contact. So he's physically engaging. He's not going to make you miss in a phone booth, but it's just a different style of running back. In this running back class and this free agency class, with the Tyler Algiers, the David Montgomerys, you're going to have to find out how much we love those types of players, because there's possibly movement there with David Montgomery. Algiers a free agent. And then you have some running backs coming into this class who are like an Algier. They're like a Montgomery. They're like a Zach Charbonnet. And you'll find that this is a better running back class, gentlemen. And I'm just kind of kicking it off to what we were saying. This is a better running back class than people want to let on. This is a better rookie class than people want to let on. And it's somebody like Kaytron Allen, who I actually think shows depth to what we have for 2026. You got a whole year to wait in 2027. Don't compare to 2027. Just say from some 0 and above, how much goodness can we get? I think we can get plenty out of this class versus just saying, hey, we got nothing. I think it's a lazy take to go the nothing route. So Kaytron Allen's just a spotlight running back for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I like the profile as far as like that big body power run profile. I mean, I think he's going to fit in really nicely on an NFL team that's looking for that 1-2 punch with maybe a lighter scat back style stuff. So I like where your head's at here. Their coach, he becomes, a very interesting guy when we think about where he's at. Doesn't really have that true home run speed like you mentioned, but that size, he could change the game, with that short yardage goal line, late game situations that I think teams are really going to like that. His passing isn't there, but I mean, it's not like he's going to need to be, things that I like to see from him. What I saw is like 91% rushing production score against 76% average defensive opponent. So he's very consistent against really good defenses. So that's a really good situation for me. The powerness of him, 5.1 yards per carry, 2,800 career rushing yards on 559 carries, top 12 all-time at Penn State, and he was splitting a backfield here, guys, with a guy that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later on in the show, Nick Singleton, and looked great doing so. Had a monster year this year, so a guy I'm going to be looking at, this week to see if he can be that functional ball catcher? You know, can he catch it cleanly? Can he identify the pressure and sustain effectiveness through multiple high intensity practices? So those are the things I'm going to be looking for hearing about, because I'm not there, obviously, from the evaluators. And Coach, what are your thoughts on him? What are you going to be looking for from him at the Senior Bowl?
Are you talking about Nicholas Singleton? Absolutely, it's going to be
Kaytron Allen.
Okay, Kaytron Allen. Yeah, I'm just going to look for more of the same for him, because it's not like he's just going to magically become somebody like a Nicholas Singleton. With Nicholas Singleton, it's pure traits. And hey, can he get a 4.4 and then just turn things upside down? And then we're just so hyped about this running back class, this rookie class, because Nicholas Singleton just tested through the roof. And we get some confirmation of how good he's been, because projecting according in out, the comparisons have been Allen, Singleton, and you might say cumulative numbers. If Allen is outpacing Singleton, what's the deal there? So there's, again, going back to what you said and asked about Allen, you're not going to get anything per se that's going to make Kaytron Allen go to the moon, because NFL evaluators, scouts, what's been put on tape, it's not really something that you can remold. You're just going to get more confirmation of for Kaytron Allen. So to me, he's a day 3 running back. I don't know if he can squeeze into day 2. I don't think he's going to need to be squeezed into day 2. And again, that'll fall back on some of the lazy narrative of not climbing the depth chart. But again, draft situation, landing spot absolutely matters. And there's going to be some openings that are going to be enviable. Kaytron Allen goes to an enviable spot. I'm bullish on him as an RB5 in this class, and I'd be bullish on him further. The thing about him, though, is he's not Emmett Johnson. So Emmett Johnson, as we talked about last week, is just a through-the-roof player, one of those ceiling type of players, a lightning type of running back. Kaytron Allen, absolutely a different style back.
Totally. I like it. All right. Let's move on to one of my guys that I'll be looking at, and it's Elijah Sarratt. And he's the kind of receiver that makes quarterbacks sleep a little bit easier. They're a little bit more reliable. He's polished, and he's most likely always open when defenders are looking his way. He's been known to not being locked down. Sarratt has proven that he can adapt into new systems. He's played at a couple colleges, St. Francis, James Madison, and now Indiana, where he found a really good spot in a really good system. And I think he's going to need that at the next level. You know, he's really good with body control, really good crisp route runner. He's got those sticky hands. At the Senior Bowl this week will all be about answering the NFL level questions. Can he handle press coverage off the line? Does his timing and spacing still create separation against elite cornerbacks? And perhaps most importantly, can he continue to convert third downs and make clutch plays under the bright lights? That's where his reputation as what I call him, the Waffle House receiver, always open, always reliable, gets tested with the top tier competition. 177 career receptions, consistency across 3 schools, 2,800 receiving yards, proven producer at every level, 29 career touchdowns, can score in a variety of ways. Had a pretty good game against Purdue, 165 yards, showing he can dominate when the stakes are high. He isn't flashy. He isn't always open as an ex-receiver. He does turn short passes and converts third down. So I'm going to be looking for him as a guy in this week that, he's not going to wow you with speed, but I'm going to be looking for him. And I'm interested to see what you think of him, Chev. What are your thoughts on Elijah Sarratt?
He was one of the players that I was really intrigued by coming into the year. For Elijah Sarratt, the biggest question for a lot of people is going to be long speed, and then the utilization. So just the manner in which that he and Fernando Mendoza had a mind meld with those back shoulder fades. He did a lot less of the big boy receiver stuff that he was doing previously, where he just, they kind of moved him around some, and he was able to like use big end breakers and slants and more like contested catches. So it'll be interesting to see where he lands. I think he is a versatile receiver. He's not my favorite kind of receiver because he's not overly, 6'2", he's very physical, but I don't know if I I would compare him to Jalen Coker, but I don't think he has the route polish that Jalen Coker does. But I think Jalen Coker's really good, so I could see him being, even if he's a lesser version than that, like it still could be really good if we get a ceiling outcome. So I like Elijah Sarratt a lot. I think he's going to be at the, probably closer to like my wide receiver 9 or 10 when I finally put rankings together. So, but there's a lot of receivers, contrary to what many people believe, there's actually good receivers available in this draft. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pose a question to the floor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Has anybody ever seen Elijah Sarratt and Kaytron Allen in the same room?
Are we saying that he just looks like Kaytron Allen put a wig on?
Yeah. Yeah, he nailed it.
Ask him if he can play piano.
That's actually that headband is just a wig all in one.
Yeah.
It's
just a one-piece wig.
Well, something I see on Elijah Sarratt, gentlemen, is a smaller Mike Evans. And I don't know if it's the red. Speaking of familiarity, I don't know if it's the red uniform, the number 13, but he's such a reliable, and Chev said mind meld with Fernando Mendoza. That could be a situation where it kind of tricks us into thinking that somebody like Elijah Sarratt is better than he is because of the success at the college level cumulatively. So that is something I want to monitor. I really love how he works in the boundary, but how is it going to work in the boundary at his height and at his size? So that is a question that I have. In a weird way, the more I watch Omar Cooper, the more I think I like Omar Cooper.
Yeah.
Possibly better than Elijah Sarratt. So that it's weird because the role, it's messing with my head because the role in colleges, the alpha is Elijah Sarratt. He's the more known name. But then Omar Cooper, I watched him. I was just like, man, this guy is a baller. I know Chev and I have talked about, he's like James Worthy on the Lakers. It's just an embarrassment because Indiana has so much talent where you're like, oh man, and we got Omar Cooper. Like, just an embarrassment of riches and just more testament to Kirk Cinetti and what they've built over there.
Well, and that's why I was like, he's one of those guys that I was really looking at as far as showing me something this week, because I'm a big Omar Cooper guy as well, guys. And, this is a product of a really good offense, and we'll have to see how these guys translate, right? Is it the system, the Cignetti system, that made these guys relevant, and can these guys hold up at the next level with the new coaching staff, with the new scheme at the NFL level? And that's what this week is going to show as well, when they're not in their comfort zone. So I'm excited to see. Now, Chev, you've got a guy that you've been itching to talk about, and I'm excited to hear a little bit more, especially after seeing how we weighed in this week. Really big for what we expected here. So talk about him.
Man, so I'm going to talk about Ted Hurst, and I've been really excited. I was doom scrolling in, Twitter one night, and I stumbled upon like this G5 like highlights page, and I just saw this dude doing some wicked stuff, and I was like, man, I don't know who this is. I need to go find out who this is. And so from that point, I started tracking it, and I was like, okay, so he's 6'3", he's 185. Like that's kind of slight. But when you watch him, he has an extra gear with the ball in his hands. And you're like, oh, well, he's fast for like group of 5 stuff. He's not really that fast. And then you see him consistently winning at the catch point. You're like, what? Is it because he's not separating, or just because like when the ball gets close to him, he goes and attacks it? And he's answering some of those questions at the Senior Bowl this week. I think that, he's a guy that people are slowly but surely becoming familiar with. A couple discords, like draft discords I'm in, people are saying like he's like their wide receiver 7 or 8 now. I wonder how much of that is to do with like the one-handed snag in the end zone, or him like consistently doing cool stuff at the Senior Bowl. Wish I was there to be able to tell you, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Ted Hurst is, coming in at 207 as opposed to 185, and then showing the kind of juice that he has in practice this week. I really think that he's a name that people are going to walk away from this and have to mark, and then we'll get a discount in our rookie drafts because he'll go in the 6th round, and people will be like, oh, if he was good, he wouldn't have gone in the 6th round. Draft capital snob. And so then we'll get discounts, and it'll be good for everyone. So yeah, Ted Hurst in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Teddy him to grass.
Literally your TED Talk. Ted Hurst sounds like the name of a sitcom dad.
Oh, it does.
Like big time.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna rename him Teddy him to grass.
Well, Chev,
his first name is Theodore Hurst.
Follow-up question for Chev. Chev, on Ted Hurst, look, I know you love George Pickens. We've talked a little bit about George Pickens archetypes who are going to keep coming through. Do you see the hype on that? Is that putting too much pressure on Ted Hurst? And what would you say to people?
That was the first thing that I thought when I watched him. That was the very first thing that I thought. And I was like, hey, calm down. Like, because everybody knows how I feel about George Pickens. And it's like I almost ascended to the cement aisle in the sky when he had the season that he had this year, because I knew it was possible, and everybody was like, he just can't. All he can do is run go rounds. What does he do better than Jordan Addison? And now everybody's got to shut up and be like, oh, well, he is really good. So I see that. If he gets with someone that can really get him like a runner's ball or just give him opportunities, if he's in a system where they can pepper him with targets, I feel like he could have a really solid season. I think he's a really good player. And yet again, if you do the work and you just like watch football, you'll find cool stuff like this instead of being like, sell all your seconds. Oh, this class is trash. I can't wait for 2027. I've known about this guy since he was a sophomore in high school because I play C2C and Debbie and So like you could be that guy, or you could find guys like Ted Hurst. The choice is yours.
Hey, team fit. Any team that you think is suffering for a Ted Hurst, and that would just be manna from heaven for fantasy, for all of us, for the whole NFL, for the world.
Yes.
Do the 2014 Amen. Seattle Seahawks count?
What team would really benefit from Ted Hurst?
Patriots.
I mean, the Patriots would be one. I honestly think that the Packers, they're gonna lose Romeo Doubs. They get a dude like this with juice. They're trying to figure out that thing because apparently they just think Jaden Reed's just like Khalif Raymond or something. So like they don't use him and they only use Christian Watson, but maybe the Packers, my Titans for sure we could definitely use somebody like that. I mean, Calvin Ridley had the worst case of Megan Fox thumbs that I have ever seen in my life. And I don't know if you bounce back from that. Tennessee, where your dreams go to die. All right. I wish Calvin Ridley the best, but maybe he retired and didn't tell us.
One more question on Ted Hurst here.
I love your. Oh,
go ahead, Mike.
I was going to talk about Ted Hurst, but ask your question.
Oh, okay. So I've seen some scouting reports on him talk about he's not the best against press coverage.
Right.
So that's a legitimate knock on guys and a legitimate concern you carry from a guy who may have played in the SEC or something. If you've got a guy who played at the level he's at, who maybe is struggling against the press, against, the level of defenders he was up against, does that give you any concern?
It does. But I think that gets overblown because of how many people are actually comfortable playing genuine clean press coverage in the NFL. There's not as many good corners that are just going to line up and press the hell out of you on a day in, day out basis. And I feel like he's shown a little bit this week in practice that he can get off the jam. He does have a few. Now, they're not all, I mean, he's not the most smooth release. Like, he doesn't have the most smooth release package, but it's effective enough. And I think that he's shown the ability to, he's developed that in his game enough to where I'm not concerned about his ability to translate into someone who could be dynamic with the ball in his hands. Like, there's,
Yeah. I mean,
it's like a discount. Like, he's not like Des Bryant in college. The way that he won was just like, all right, I'm just way bigger and way faster than everybody else. This dude plays the same way. So Des Bryant, like, he could be a red zone threat. Like, he's a ball winner. Like, it is aggressive, but it's not, it may not be the most clean.
so like he put on weight. Is that you think what happened here, or was it just not weighting properly? So he put on weight. He's still showing that crazy speed. I mean, we saw it on tape with that go route that he went up one-handed for a touchdown this week, 6'3", 207. That might help with that press coverage. That speed didn't, leave. He's flying this week as well. I'll be looking at, what might have been a knock on him too was he able to run a full route tree? It was a lot of go routes and screen. So at the Senior Bowl, he's already shown he could run real routes, sink his hips, win at different levels. It's not perfect, like Chev mentioned, but he's still, a round off of that time to time here, and the progress is obvious. Scouts are also taking notes right now, so I'll be looking at him to like a lot now because of what you mentioned there, Schultzy. Can he handle that press? And he's already showing he can run a little bit more than what he was advertised, right, Chev?
Yeah. So I think after this week, more people will be a little bit, everybody's going to have the whole competition thing, but after you compile what he did this week, I think people are going to be a lot more open to the idea that this is a guy that you can get early day 3 that, returns on investment.
Love it. All right. You know what else I love is it's rookie season here, folks. And Schultzy, we got a lot going on here on FSAN, and we're about to release in about a month and a half our rookie guide. So let's hear all about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Sports Advice Network NFL Rookie Prospect Guide, built by fantasy managers for fantasy managers who want an edge before draft day even arrives. The Devi Dojo and the Fantasy Forecast Squads have been grinding film and data, breaking down over 70 offensive prospects with fantasy football in mind. Every profile includes college production, athletic testing, advanced metrics, and role-based evaluations that translate directly to your dynasty, redraft, best ball, and superflex leagues. The first release drops Monday, March the 9th, with a fully updated post-NFL edition coming 1 week after, complete with landing spots and fantasy outlooks. Make sure to get your copy at release. Everyone who grabs the early edition receives the updated version at no extra charge. With the Fantasy Sports Advice Network NFL Rookie Prospect Guide, winning your league isn't luck. It's doing the work early, staying ahead all season, and forcing your league mates to play catch up from day one. All right, let's get into the next prospect here, Schultzy, and that is your guy. Or is it one of Coach's old guys? We'll see.
Oh, love it, man. I'm hyped, man. Yes, I'm already there. I'm firm, baby. Let's keep going.
I'm firm.
Well, Coach, I'm not quite sure how to say this, but Justin Joly, Joly, is it Joly?
Joly. Yes.
All right, guys. So Justin Joly here. We got tight end out of your North Carolina State over here. And I think this guy's game is going to translate to the NFL well. he's kind of one of these classic, with basketball tight ends. Like we've kind of, I mean, that's not I almost said as we like to say, as if it's a term everybody's out there saying, basketball tight end. But we move on. Justin Joly, great contested guy. What is like over 80% contested catch rate, I think it is. And I mean, playing at NC State, he had some solid stats, over 600 yards in 24, almost 500 last year. Like, I don't know, nobody was out here expecting this guy to go drop 1,000 yards or anything, or be some absolute machine, but I love the way he can go up and get a ball. He's got a solid frame here for a tight end, 6'3", 251. The size is there to play at the next level. And there is some limitations here, but it's nothing that's going to stop him from succeeding. Like, the blocking can be a little bit better, the run blocking, but that's not going to like you can still be a functional tight end, be somewhat of an impactful NFL tight end without, being a superb run blocker. But if you're a guy like Brenton Strange or something, like, it's just a big positive because it's not going to bring you off the field. But I don't think him being somewhat of a negative blocker is going to be like a huge detriment long-term to his production in the NFL. Other than that, another thing I've seen people knock him for is like the frame. Like, he's got the frame, but sometimes it doesn't show up against like some bigger linebackers, which this week at the Senior Bowl, he seems to be quelling those concerns. Like, he's looked really good in the one-on-one drills against linebackers and stuff. So far, so good for Justin Joly at the Senior Bowl. Very curious to see where he gets taken in the NFL draft, especially considering, like I mentioned, the blocking stuff. But I think to counteract that, an offensive coordinator is really going to like this guy's versatility, lining him up all over formations. So I don't know. I think there's a nice there's some potential ceiling here, especially in like a tight end premium league. Like, this is going to be a guy who you're going to want to probably take some stabs at.
Well, ironically, the Carolina Panthers have a tight end need. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Broncos would be phenomenal. But I would really, really love Justin Joly developmentally to pair up and go to New England, where he could work with Hunter Henry and mold with somebody like a Drake May and just be a late round gem. I see 85 overall on PFF's big board. So that might be round 3. He might sneak in Justin Joly to late day 2. If not, hey, early day 3. Think about Justin Joly, NC State. He wasn't a feature of the offense. And there were times where I would sit there and think like, hey, man, he's kind of disappeared. I haven't heard from him for a while. But it was more the design of the offense that Dave Doran had going on. And don't let that fool you and trick you. So I think that's why you're seeing some of those featured physical attributes and talent on display at the Senior Bowl, because sometimes you're unmarried to your college program, where he still showed and put things on wax. You have the Greg Jennings reenactment where he had the pulled hamstring and he's glitching and he gets to the end zone. That dynamism is on display. I like what you said about sometimes physicality, even though it adds up and you see him being a bigger tight end, his physicality and maneuverability in leveraging that isn't always on display. I think that's definitely something that he could improve on in the NFL, which is why like a guy like Hunter Henry, I think would be absolutely perfect. I see Joly as somebody who needs some tutelage, but has such good raw ability that he can refine and be an absolute monster. And of course, tied to a guy like Drake May, it would just be what you talk about giving life to these round 3 rookie picks. Joly would just be one of those guys who it's round 3 for whatever the price is, where people sleep on somebody like him. You're going to want to auto click almost all the time. So at the tight end position, Joly is somebody who can absolutely be that. And I'm very excited to see how this combine process, because Joly is one of those players. It's Sadiq. We know it's cemented with round one. Guy like Joly, he needs to patch together things with the interviews, with the Senior Bowl, with the Combine. It's all got to be a married campaign for Joly because it's got to all be pushed together. It's not all in the bag yet for him. But seeing his talent, I'm glad you brought him up. This is just another player who, you talk about gems, receiver, running back, tight end, there's a lot of gems. The quarterback position, depending on Chambliss, could end up being just kind of okay. But because, and we talked pre-show, it mirrors a one quarterback setting in your rookie drafts because there's just vapidity at the quarterback position. And people, maybe it runs on round 4 and round 5 where it's like, hey, this class is out of gas. But my God, these first couple rounds are going to be nutrient dense. And the more we dive into these players and bringing up Justin Joly, and in a minute, I'll talk about my running back. Yeah, it's getting deeper. I like it.
So Chev, you got some eyeballs for this.
Real quick, I love how last year, if you were a running back who was a free agent or a draft prospect, and you were any good, we were like, you're going to the Chargers. This year, if you catch balls, we're pegging you in New England. Phrasing.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, boys. You guys got me flummoxed.
Flummoxed.
Yeah. All right. Where are we? What are we doing here? All right. So I guess it's your turn now, Mike.
Yeah. No. I think it's coach's turn.
I think we got him bricked up and kind of blacked out. Where
I don't even know where we are right now, or what day it is.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. We're on to coach's guy.
Yeah, let's talk about some Mike Washington. And look,
you're going to get even more bricked out and blacked out right away here.
Oh, it's going to be more than 4 hours.
And let's just say, hey, call the doctor, right? I'm just the first one to type in Mike Anderson on the show sheet. So, or Mike Washington. Sorry, I don't know why I said Anderson. Mike Washington of Arkansas, and he's a phenomenal player.
What I call it up here.
I refuse to acknowledge the silent S. There's an S there. I'm going to acknowledge it. We should not repress this. It is Arkansas to me. If it's Kansas, it's Arkansas, and I'm not hearing anything different. So
it's not your Kansas, damn it.
Yeah, 6'2", 223, 2-star out of high school. He grew up in the Syracuse area in central New York, which that is just like a dead area. The Northeast players get cast. They don't get the same opportunity recruiting wise. They end up on a lot of Big Ten teams. I know Syracuse is there, but Mike Washington ends up in Arkansas, which we love. But teams like Buffalo, where he enrolled, JMU, they were interested in him. But here's some things that I have on him. Mike Washington, his speed builds up as a downhill runner. Now, sometimes getting to the downhill can be an issue for him because he'll just get caught in traffic. He's not like a mouse. You're going to know Mike Washington is there. He's not going to be the best hide and seek champion when he's hiding. At Texas, on display, 17, 105, and 1 in the rushing category, 6 and 43 for receiving. He's got lateral shiftability for a tall running back, runs high, has a high stride, glide, like the football is a baton. So once he gets in the open field, he's just gliding on his stride, not shy on contact, engages the defenders, has a healthy balance of zone and gap scheme. So I think there's versatility for somebody like Mike Washington. He pushes the pile forward. A little critique could be we could see more power in pushing the pile. It's just like a small, nitpick there. Protects the ball in traffic, though. He has wiggle and shiftiness in tight spaces. He had a house call where he got to the outside edge, had one man to beat, and he ran that guy over. Like, I can't say the words on this air on Tennessee radio, but he trucked him, baby. And he put him in the ground. And elevated to the end zone. Lateral shift, seamless scanning and blocking, always gets to space. So he'll see it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. In the lateral shift, and the outside yards are there for Mike Washington. So gap versatility, zone versatility. I really see him as a DeMarco Murray build. Reminds me of a DeMarco Murray build. And round 4, early day 3, draft capital, maybe round 5. But things are elevating at the Senior Bowl. He's putting on his pass catching display. That's been a note made. And the cumulative numbers are there in the receiving game. He had a spike season, his last season, 28 receptions. And he really just, as a receiver, it's not like he's a top option in the receiving game, but he goes out there, he's functional. He makes himself available to the quarterback, takes a reception in stride, and gets what's there in the green grass. So little things like that. If we can just get him, he's almost like a tier down, 3 down back who's going to find a way to keep himself on the field. Some fits for me. Dallas Cowboys. He would just be just right with them. Minnesota Vikings paired with Aaron Jones. Now here is the redundant role, but NFL fit. I'm trying to think outside the box because every year we get players. We've talked about Chev. Jonah Coleman could be a great Green Bay Packer, but a gut punch for fantasy football in year 1. A redundant role but fit would be to replace somebody like Rachaad White in Tampa Bay to complement a Bucky Irving. Now, if Mike Washington went to Tampa Bay, you would probably put some of that toothpaste back in the tube as far as excitement because Bucky Irving's clearly the guy. But it's actually a role that could be fruitful. So it's just a tough situation. We have bullish spots, but I did want to put out one of those spots that could be, hey, this would work for the NFL because Tampa Bay coaches are going to see Mike Washington. They're going to have to come away very impressed with him and think, hey, we can get him on the cheap. We don't have to pay Rachaad White. We're not paying Rachaad White. So why not just go for free? Got some waffle fries for free. Get Mike Washington day 3, draft capital, early day 3, and you have your Rachaad White replacement. So as you're trying to scaffold how we think in fantasy and how NFL teams want to build, those are just some things that come to mind. Gentlemen, I yield the floor.
I think drafting Mike Washington would be a Kansas City Chiefs move, if you know what I mean. I mean, that would be great there instead of Arkansas, right? Arkansas, right? Kansas? No. Good.
What's happening?
Well, that would speak to
I think he looks
the Chiefs. The Chiefs invested and they got burned by Clyde Edwards-Helaire when they should have had Jonathan Taylor. They had every opportunity. They pay for it. Every carry Jonathan Taylor has, the Chiefs pay for it. But not having to pay up, there's other needs that the Chiefs have in round 1. Why not a guy like Mike Washington? Because so this would be penthouse to outhouse scenarios. Huge. And it's cool.
Yeah,
If Mike Washington, people are going to watch Mike Washington. If the Chiefs draft Washington day 3, people will be like, man, who's this guy? Just the casual. But us 4 bricked up fellas, hey, we'll know what's up.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah, that 4 on his jersey, that's not a coincidence.
Mm-hmm. I like him. I mean, I think.
Go ahead.
The speed, the size, so much going for him. Chev, what do you got to add?
Oh, no, I'm really excited for where he's going to be because he's 25 years old, so people are going to discount him quite a bit. And so I'm hoping that he lands somewhere day 3. The Chiefs would be beautiful because it fills a need. And I feel like he could work in tandem with the one true king, Brashard Smith, to be one of the most lethal backfields in the entire NFL. And you solve the problem because you don't have to pay a 4th round running back very much. But the problem is we're going to have to deal with probably 4 or 5 weeks of some jag, or whoever. If they don't really add somebody, they add someone, but they don't add someone. They're like, yeah, we're going to try this whole Tyler Algier.
Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. We're gonna do this. Rico Dowdle's kind of awesome. So I don't know if that might be good though. We might. Rico Dowdle would ruin all this for everyone.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle on the Chiefs would.
Hey, question. Question
books
on
in the Bible written about the type of activity that happens when things like that happen.
A question on Rico Dowdle. I surmise, all right, with mine own eyes, that Rico Dowdle had some issues with the coaching staff in Carolina.
Yes,
and that's
1,000%.
where a lot of the. So, are we worried, concerned that could follow him to another team, or would the word be out there that Dowdle is somehow difficult? How could his reputation kind of low key not be where we want it, or do we think a team is just gonna be like, hey, you're in the door, we'll take you?
He just wants the ball. Like that's would you not, if you were trying to get paid?
Oh, absolutely.
And you were clearly outperforming your contemporaries.
Who just got paid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I just wondered did I pick up the same thing?
Yeah, no, he was pissed. No, I mean, he said
right
he was pissed.
with the team. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pissed, and hopefully he lands somewhere decent, and probably somewhere. Schultzy mentioned it may be a split backfield, but could work his way into a primary role with the right situation and how well he can run. But I'm sure he's going to be very selective on where he goes, and probably want to go somewhere where he's going to get that outright. So, all right, let's move it along. We're almost done. 2 more guys to go through, and I'm going to talk about the other Penn State running back, and that's Nick Singleton, who's basically the human embodiment of a bowling ball with jet engine, 6 feet, 221, but a 4.39 speed, and that squat that would make Saquon Barkley nod in approval. He's split that backfield, has been okay. Last year, not great, but I like what I saw in his earlier years, so that's why I'm going to be looking at him. I'm going to be looking at him to see if he can separate from the rest of the running back class, what we'll be looking for in Mobile. Not just that home run speed, like Coach mentioned earlier, but how he will navigate the NFL trenches. Can he set up those blocks, hit those holes with precision? Does that stiff arm technique hold up against bigger, faster defenders? And more importantly, can he string together multiple cuts when lanes close? So these are great things to watch for, and I'll be looking for them in anticipation. 3,000 career rushing yards, consistent production across 3 seasons, 12 touchdowns as a freshman. He made an immediate impact and broke program records. That speed, obviously great, and 41 receptions as a junior. So he's got pass catching chops, obviously 3-down versatility. So looking to see what Chev thinks about Singleton, where you have him ranked right now in your rankings, and a little bit about him as far as what you see.
So this is the toolsiest running back in the draft in terms of the prototypical. If you're going to draw a running back in a lab, this is Saquon Barkley light in terms of the tools. The problem is he's got vision like he's blind. He does not have good vision, and that's like the downfall. It's like the scene in Moneyball where he's like, this is Nicholas Singleton. He's one of the most athletic running backs to ever live. The problem is he does not know how to use it. So like as a runner, he leaves a lot to be desired. If you give him a runway, so like in a wide zone type of Kyle Shanahan-esque, like I think he could be the final boss of the Isaac Garindos of the world. Like you could really just give him a runway and he's going to break long runs and do excellent things. He's displayed a propensity for being able to catch the ball, 65 catches in the last 2 years. So there's pass catching ability, and then there's the explosive athleticism. I don't think if you leave him like in like a lot of environments where it's not like clear path, I have to make one cut and go. If he's having to stop and start his feet a bunch, he doesn't really process well enough to be able to be effective and like get back on track. So as long as he's like a one-track runner, so you could put him in in a really good zone, like wide zone scheme, like the Falcons, if he was the Tyler Algier replacement and just back up to Bijan. If heaven forbid something happened to Bijan, you could count on him to, at least do stuff. Or in Tampa Bay, because now Zach Robinson, old Falcons coordinator, is there. So there's places you can create for him to be there, and there's pathways you can create for him to be somewhere and display all of the ceiling traits that he has, because the ceiling on him is really high and he could make me look really dumb for questioning him. But it's just that, like, sometimes he doesn't football good. And this year he didn't football good. So I have questions now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I put them on here. These are two skeptical guys I have, so I wanted to see what the panel had to say about my two. And didn't add much clarity in my eyes, but that's why we're looking and scouting right now, guys, to get that clarity. Now, Chev, let's talk about your final guy, a guy that's playing a lot bigger than what he has been recorded right now. So talk about Aaron Anderson and what he brings to the table.
So he was at Bama, came in as a 5-star, and then transferred to LSU. And like last year, I was like, man, this dude is really good. So easy separator with explosive home run hitting ability. And then this year, I mean, he tanked with the rest of the LSU offense. But this week, I've seen him in some of the one-on-ones really be able to get off of physical coverage, like downfield, shake free, create separation, using head fakes and feints to set people up. And then his change of direction, his ability to sink. I mean, he's loaded. I mean, he's 5'8", 188, so he's not a big guy, but he has a lot of juice. He reminds me of Pop Douglas. So like that's the type of role I could see him playing, but he has juice with the ball in his hands, and he's fast. So yeah, I want to see where he lands. I really need to go back and watch the rest of LSU's tape this year, but everything tanked, so everything sucked. And now Garrett Nussmeier's healthy, and he's apparently doing pretty well at the Senior Bowl this week too. So yeah, Aaron Anderson.
I like this call a lot. And I think this is a dude you should be taking shots at, especially if his rookie capital is what it's going to be like 4th round or something. Like,
yep,
yeah, like I take all the shots there at that. So it's funny to me that we've seen so many people over the years, wide receivers, come into the league and have like that track speed, right? And people camp out in the cement aisle like they're waiting for an Xbox 360 to release.
We just made ourselves so old.
And so people love him, some track speed. But the problem is when it's a guy like John Ross who can't actually play football, like he just sucks. And Aaron Anderson, we've got track speed here, right? Like legit track speed.
Yes.
The thing is, here we have legit football traits to match it, and why is the draft capital that low? I don't get it.
So there's two questions that surround him to me, and it's why the fall off in production this year, and then what are you going to? Are you just a slot only guy at the NFL level? And I think the answer is no. I think he can get off of press. Like he can win in those situations. It's just whether or not he'll get the opportunity to actually be. I mean, he could be a perfect like Z flanker off the ball, giving him free releases to run into space. Like he has the IQ to be able to sit down and figure those things out. So it's just whether or not he's going to get the opportunity. And I think people are going to question it because of the lack of production this past year and just the size, unless he just tests off the charts.
Yeah, this could be a dude who absolutely explodes after the combine, and all of a sudden he's a 2nd-round rookie pick.
Yeah.
Hey, there again, the depth of this class and just not even allowing the perception of something new to occur, new information to process. Just, hey, it's January 1st. This class is horrible. I'll see you in August.
It's a really dumb way to look at things.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been beating it down here on the Pulse for a couple weeks now, talking this class up, and it isn't as bad as what people think. And if you're doing the tape and you're doing the stuff that we're doing here, you're gonna get ahead of the game here on FSAN and the Dynasty Pulse. Thanks, guys. Great show. Bringing the heat. Senior Bowl's almost wrapped up. The weekend is here upon us, and we're gonna have some risers and fallers coming on the next one, and we'll be highlighting these guys headed into the combine, which is the next big metric here, where these guys are going to be tested, and we're going to get the next piece of the puzzle. So be sure to keep your ear to the ground, stay tuned with us, and we're going to start bringing on the guests this off season as well. So boys, great show, and we're done. Let's peace out, everybody. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week, everyone. From FSN, peace out. Later.